Welcome to the Investors Trading Academy Economic Calendar of the Week. Each week our news analysts review the upcoming economic events that you should be monitoring. After the momentous events of last week, it will seem odd to have to adjust to normal, ordinary course of economic events. The future of the continent will now be debated at every turn and will dominate markets for weeks to come. There is still plenty of data to come through, most notably from the US, so markets and investors will have their hands full for the time being. The Brexit decision had huge market implications, with a crash for the pound, falls for other risk currencies and gains for the dollar and the yen. Apart from the Brexit aftershocks, we have the US and Canadian GDP data, US consumer confidence and other events. These are the major events on Forex calendar. Join us as we explore the market movers for this week. Britain's voted to leave the European Union, inflicting a serious blow on the EU and international order. Prime Minister David Cameron announced his resignation. The pound crashed, falling more than 10% against the dollar, posting its biggest one-day fall in history. Following these dramatic events, European shares plummeted more than 8%, their biggest ever one-day fall. The Brexit could cost Britain their access to the EU's trade barrier-free single market, forcing them to seek new markets around the world. Moreover, this departure will cost the EU around a sixth of its economic output and may lead to further departures of other EU member states. Economic events are few and far between as we move into the US holiday weekend. The major events worth watching this week will include the Spanish election. Spain will hold a general election on Sunday, June 26th. Following the general election in December, Spain's political parties were unable to form a government, and after an extended period of deadlock, another election will be held in an attempt to resolve the situation. The previously dominant Popular Party, PP, and Socialist PSOE parties both lost support in December, and there will be speculation over a further loss of ground in this election. In this context, the performance of the new left-wing Unidos Podemos coalition will be extremely important. If Unidos Podemos can form a government or effectively block an administration of the traditional parties, there'll be fresh concerns surrounding the risks of instability within the Eurozone. The political and economic stakes have certainly been raised by the UK referendum vote to leave the EU, which will resonate across Spain. There will be some net relief if the gains for Unidos Podemos are less than expected. The European Council will be held in Brussels on June 28th and 29th. The European Council is a meeting of all EU member states and is often relatively dull in its overall content. The importance of this meeting has intensified dramatically following the UK referendum vote to leave the EU. There will be an important focus on whether the 27 members are willing to negotiate a favourable deal for the UK, or whether there will be a much more acrimonious tone with a desire to punish the UK in order to discourage similar actions by other members. The overall tone of the meeting will be important in shaping risk appetite and contagion within the EU. China's official Caixin PMI data will be released on Friday, July 1st, with the official data at 2100 hours EST on Thursday. Trends in the Chinese economy are already an extremely important underlying focus. Given fears that the global economy will be subjected to a significant external shock from the UK referendum, there will also be increased concerns over the impact of any fresh downturn in the Chinese economy, with markets much more sensitive to the global risks. Deterioration in the PMI releases will increase fears that the positive impact of aggressive PBOC monetary stimulus seen earlier in 2016 is fading. In contrast, any improvement in the PMI data would help offer some degree of relief and increase confidence that a short-term severe downturn can be avoided.